Okay, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming by. Chris Petri here, and we're doing some more drawing, pen drawing, of course. We said, sometimes it's great if you can repeat processes over and over again. It really helps tremendously with watercolor. We always say in drawing, repetition is the mother of skill. That's a very famous saying. That's you hear quoted a lot by a lot of people. Repetition is really important. The more you get familiar with something by repeating a process over, whether it's notes on a scale on a piano or singing notes, if you like to sing and you practice along with records and whatever, you practice the same notes, you try to match the notes, and you sing the song over and over again until you kind of get the feel for it and the sound and the proper pitch. If you're a guitar player, you strum the same chords. You keep practicing those same chords over and over till you get familiar with it, or anything like that. Sports, trying to throw a ball accurately, a baseball across the field. They practice that over and over and over until they can finally get that ball accurate when they throw it across the field, and they can land it right on the mitt of another player. So all these things, sports, people in sports, musicians, artists do the same thing. As artists, you're the artist, the more you repeat something over and over, you're going to get familiar with it. You might be, you might like to paint a certain type of subject matter. You might like painting flowers a lot, or maybe boats. And if you've done a lot of them, you're more familiar with it and you feel more confident with it. So that's what we're going to do with our drawing skills. We're just going to keep practicing them over and over. So we'll just get started. Now, we just did recently some tubes of paint, and that's why we're going to do a couple more tubes of paint. So, you might take a week out of your schedule and say, I'm going to practice 10 or 15 minutes every day for 1 week, just once a day for 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to draw one tube of paint. And if you do that, you'll be surprised. You'll start to find that your drawings are going to get more accurate. You're going to feel more comfortable with the subject matter. And so that's a big part of art, is just practicing, especially drawing, is practicing over and over the same subject matter you want to get a good feel for, and eventually learn how to really draw that subject matter excellent and well. So here I am going to use a pen. And of course, I always say pens are good because it kind of keeps you from erasing a lot and trying to recorrect things. What we're going for here is just trying to take our time and observe the subject matter. In this case, it's these tubes of paint, and we're just going to carefully draw them. And whatever it looks like, if it's lopsided or it doesn't look so exact as these tubes of paint, that is totally fine. The main part you'll be learning, or the focus of this, is trying to just get a little more free, feel a little more comfortable, have a little more fun with it. And we're not trying to get everything perfectly accurate. You're just trying to really train your eye and your hand to see this subject matter, and then try to capture it as accurately as you can with your pen or your pencil. If you feel more comfortable with a pencil, that's fine. But I wouldn't keep erasing things over and over again. Just start another paper. I have this as printer paper. So I'm using printer paper, and I practice on printer paper all the time. And so let's get started here. So this is going to be our first tube of paint. We're going to start here, and we're just going to start in one location and try to capture this accurately. So I'm just doing this here. That's the cap. And then I'm just going to get some of those striations across on that cap. And then over here I notice that, okay, I stop here, maybe just do a little dot saying, okay, that's about where that is. And then it goes like so. And then it goes in like that. Okay, that's the first portion. Now you can scale this. Let's say you just didn't want to get something going too far out of the scale that you have here, though. So we want to keep it somewhat the same size as this. So we could simply just say, if we take the tip of our pen, in this instance, the clicker portion of the pen, that seems to be the size right there, if you can see, of the cap of this paint tube. So we could take that and say, how many caps large is this paint tube from here to here. So let's try it out and see what we have. So we have 1, bottom of the cap, or it'd be there, 2 to this blue line there. So that's 2. This is 3 to here, to that line across here. That's 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if you can imagine, this paint tube right here is 5 caps in height or length. 1, 2, 3, 4, and approximately 5 of these. Now, when I'm doing this, I notice my camera angle is a little different than what I'm seeing. So when you're seeing me do this, drawing and doing these where I'm scaling things and using this as a measuring tool, my pen, it might look a little different where you're seeing on the video. But if you could just imagine, it might look a little different. But all I wanted to point out is the tip of this clicker here is the same size as that cap, and that's all you have to do. And then just say, okay, well, how many of this size of the cap here is this? And then we just go once. The second time it's to that blue stripe approximately, and then here's the third one. It's a little bit higher than this line here where the paint tube is here, the bottom of the paint tube. That's 4. And then the last one's 5, right to the edge of this here. So that's basically it. So now we can just go here and say, well, we're pretty much the same thing. This cap here is about 1, clicker, that little clicker thing there, thingy. That's 1 of these. So it's the same scale. So I just go 1, 2, 3. I put my finger down there. 3, 4, and 1 more, 5. So that's about where we want to be. This point here is going to be here. So let's try it out and see how that works. Okay, we go out like this. That looks about good there. And then we go out a little bit here. And if it's not exact, that's okay. And then let's say we're looking at this over here and we're saying, where is this edge here in relation to this here? And if you hold your pen over it, we'll notice that this is a little bit beyond. So we want to go a little bit beyond this here. So we could also take our pen and hold it across here and say, okay, I want to be a little bit beyond this mark here. So even if I did it with a pencil to kind of prove my theory here, this here, if I hold my pen up to it, this edge here is a little bit beyond this edge here. So if we do take our pen and draw a straight line like this, we'll notice that that's correct. We're just about there. We have actually gone a little bit beyond it, but that's okay. We can live with that. That's okay. And then we're going to go across here like that. And then we can even do that. And then we have our paint stripe at the top. We'll get that. Like that there. And there's a little bit of paint on this here. And I think I'm just going to leave we'll shade this in maybe with some pen. So that's the blue on the top of the paint tube. And I think we're just going to leave it. We're not going to do, let's practice another tube here. I'm not going to get into the finer details of everything with all of the writing and things like that. Especially this is upside down right now. So I would really, if I was going to do the writing on this, I would spin the paper around. So I'd lift up my paper, spin my paper around, and then do it that way. Okay, we're going to start this one next here, and then we have a different angle, so it's angled this way versus straight like this. So we're going to do it over here, and I'm going to start this one again with the cap again. And generally, we're going to probably have these the same size. Might as well try to get them the same size, so that's going to be the same thing too. The top of the cap is one clicker, and then the rest. So let's start off by just drawing the cap first. And I'll start it over here so we have plenty of room. And we're not necessarily trying to draw them in the same, although we could. Matter of fact, let's do that. Let's try to draw these the same way they're sitting here on the table. So this point here is almost, for where I'm looking from, this is not quite touching this cap here. It's a little bit away from that. So like that, it's about there. And then the angle, I can just take the angle like this and say, okay, hold my pen over the angle like that, and then just take this and then just transfer it over like this. And do that, and then I can get the same angle. I can kind of see it. It's like that. It might even be a little bit like this here. All right, let's see how wide this is. Once, twice, two and a half of these is the length of the back of this. So let's do this. One there. One there, and then a half. About where it is, so that's pretty good. That's pretty close. Okay, so now we have the back of the tube, and since we're going to draw this the same size, I can maybe, that looks about the same width there, so that's pretty good. Then we're going to go this way here, and as we go across, let's do this here. We'll get that there like so. Then I'm going to go across here, and then I'm going to go over here. Then I'm going to turn in like this. And then from there, I'm going to check my angle one time. Okay, so that's about there. Looks good. And then from here, I'm going to go like so, and do that. And here, I'm going to go across, like that. There's a little bit of a shadow there. And then up here is the insignia. Then here we go like so, and over here very subtly that like that. Then we're going to go across like this. Like that. And then there's just a little bit of that oval at the top. Like that. So this is, it might not always be perfect. I think and I'll shade this in. This is like the yellow. Not quite as dark as the blue, a little bit lighter. And again, we're just going for a, approximate. We're looking for the tonal value of it. So this is a light. It's not, if you squint your eyes and look at this, you'll notice this is much darker. This is a little bit lighter in tonal value. This is a little bit, this has a little bit of tone to it. Silvery color. This too, this is silver in color. The tubes are white. There's some paint there. And there's a little bit of a shadow over here. So I'm just kind of doing some shadowing and kind of feeling some things out here. This looks pretty good. And again, if we wanted to, we could do more details. This here looks like this is in shadow over here. So that's a little bit of a shadow there. Then there's a little bit of a shadow here. And then once we have this, now we could do some finishing touches. We could take this and we can spin this around our paper. So what I'll do is I'll spin the paper around. And see if we can do this a little bit better now. So now we can see that this happens to be Winsor Newton paint. That's some of the paints I use all the time. So I can take this and just maybe do a little lettering on these here. And you can do some of this on your own, you know. You can get more detailed like this. You know, you do your maybe some writing on here and some more detail if you feel you want to do that, or if you just want to draw the outline of the tube with a little bit of more simple looking drawings like this, that's fine too. I'm just going to add a little bit of the details. I'm going to leave it like that. Maybe it's just a little challenge just to try to see if I can get the letters in there okay, and sometimes it's kind of difficult. They're not centered exactly. So I missed out on putting professional under there, so I kind of made the lettering too large. But no one would ever really pick up on that so much, so that's some of the details you can sometimes, when you're drawing details like this, sometimes no one's going to really notice that. Because, you know, who's going to take a tube and roll it up exactly like this one here and then try to figure out if I got that last word in here? No big deal. You know, sometimes other things you might have to be more accurate with if you're drawing maybe a certain, you know, something that can't be sort of altered. Like this is altered, you know, when you're rolling up tubes like this, maybe there's no writing, maybe there's a little bit of writing here, so no one's really going to critique us too much on that if we just put that bit of writing on it and leave it at that. And then over here too, this is the, I'm trying to think if it was like this. So this tube was like this, I believe. So now it's upside like this. Yep, so that's how it would be. And that's right in the center there, and we can just do, and we could even just zip along quick here just to get it. Maybe it doesn't even have to be all perfect. We can just kind of try to keep it even and level. You can always take a pencil line too if you want. If you want to keep some of the writing level and straight, you can just put a little pencil line here first when you're doing your pen drawing. Put some pencil line on there first, and then we'll erase it once we're done. Yellow. You might do that in a finished painting, let's say, if you're trying to get some really accurate writing on signs. Maybe there's some signs in your painting or some writing somewhere on a building, whatever it is. You could use a little bit of pencil lines and get yourself some level lines. You can use a ruler, maybe space it and say, okay, I want both of these to be the same thickness, the writing, so you'd write like that and then put another one here. So you would take 2 4 lines with a little space in between it, and then this way you can keep these this lettering even on both top and bottom. And then we'll cadmium yellow light. We can do some small mystery writing there. We don't really write anything, we just maybe make some shapes and things, and that looks fine. And over here too, like that. And that was our HWC. And there's some more writing here. And then an oval there with some writing in it, and then some more. So we could put some of that there, might as well. Maybe here we'll do some more. And this is a circle here. I'm going to do it lightly and not get too worried. That's AP Artists Paint. Some more writing, and there's some more writing over here. And there we have it. And then we'll spin it back to the way we had it before. We got our writing done. We had to spin it around to make it easier for ourselves when we do the writing portion. And then we'll set them back up again like we had them, like this. And there we have it, everybody. Look at this. How difficult is that? And again, don't worry if you don't want to. If you're just starting out painting and you're like, just beginning on learning on sketching and drawing, don't worry about doing all these letters and stuff like that. Maybe just try to get the basic shape of everything. You don't even have to do any of the colors or anything like that. If that's what if you think you just want to keep it real simple, and that's all, and that's it. You just do this once a day, maybe for a whole week. Do just paints. You take them and throw them down like that. And then draw them just the way they are. Take maybe just one and just draw that one. I did 2 here for a little variety, but you can do, and then, if you have 5 or 6 or 10 of these around, you'll start to see there's different ones folded up like this. There's ones here. Maybe there's a brand new one over here like so, pretty much new. Thinner one, a little smaller. Over here we have another one here we could do. This is a brand new one, like that. So you can just have fun with this, and then when you're done, you can just sign it. Practice your signatures. You got to get good at that. That'll look good. Date it 2022. Always sign your work, and also put the date when you did it. If you want to do the month and year, that's fine too. That might be good. So I'm going to say 3/29. Oh, today's the 30th, I think. 3/30/2022. And if you have it in a sketchbook, then a year later you'll take your sketchbook and start looking through it and go, oh wow, a year ago I remember doing that. I was practicing on those paintings on the paint tubes, drawing with Chris, and we were doing those exercises, and we did that for like a week, and we did like one a day, one drawing a day, and you'll just remember back and think how much fun you had. It's great, isn't it? All right, so now I always mention, if this is your first time here at my channel, welcome and thanks for coming by, and I'm hoping you're going to keep coming back and practicing with us, painting, drawing. We do everything watercolor here, and you'll see all my videos. I have hundreds of videos on YouTube in my archives, and we do new videos every week. So you can, if you want, feel free to subscribe here. On the bottom right hand side, there's that subscribe button. You just hit that, and you're all set. This way you'll be alerted each time new videos come out that I'm creating, and this way you won't miss out on those. You can watch those, have a fun time with it. And you'll notice that we do all kinds of work. We do painting, drawing. We do some inks. Sometimes we'll do ink and wash. We do every type of subject matter: flowers, boats, oceans, seascapes, landscapes, figure painting, everything in watercolor, pencil drawing and pen drawing, and of course watercolor paints. So glad you're here and joining along with us. Appreciate very much everyone that's been following for a long time. I'm so happy that you're getting really good at your watercolors and really producing beautiful works of art. And we're just going to continue on together, and we'll see you on the next video, everyone. Happy painting.